Hey, everybody. Ready to embrace your power.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be looking at the Avadhuta Gita,
Okay.
which is a text that's really all about sort of breaking free from limitations and discovering your true potential.
Right.
And it's really a text about self-discovery and spiritual liberation.
I think what I find so interesting about this text is that it's so direct.
Yeah,
It doesn't tiptoe around the big questions. It
right.
just throws these bold pronouncements about reality at you and
Sure.
really urges you to awaken to a deeper truth.
It's not your typical philosophical text.
No, it's not.
And adding to the intrigue, I think, is this mysterious author, Dattatreya,
Yes.
who is described as the son of a tree,
Right.
transformed into a warrior, and ultimately a liberated soul.
Yeah.
Quite the unconventional path.
Yeah, and the text doesn't really give us a lot about Dattatreya's history. We're kind of left with this enigmatic figure.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of perfectly embodies the Avadhuta, which is this liberated being that's transcended all the worldly attachments and worries and things.
Yeah, before we even get into the teachings, can you explain what an avadhuta is?
Sure. So an Avadhuta is essentially someone who is completely free.
Okay.
Um, and I don't just mean free from external things, but free from internal chains as well.
Okay.
So, things like desires
Yeah,
and fears, even the illusion of a separate self.
right.
They exist in total unity with the divine, realizing that they're essentially God.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
And that idea of unity, I think, is really at the heart of the Avadhuta Gita's philosophy.
Right.
It's all about this Advaita Vedanta
Yes.
emphasizing non-duality.
Exactly. And, the Avadhuta Gita, it simplifies things in a way by just stating there's only one reality,
Okay.
and that's Brahman,
Okay.
and that you, the individual self,
Right.
the Atman, you are not separate from that, you are Brahman.
But that's so hard to grasp, though,
Yeah.
because we experience the world as separate things,
Right. Yeah.
people including ourselves.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of Maya comes in.
Okay.
Maya is often translated as illusion,
Right.
but it's more like a veil
Okay.
that hides the true nature of reality.
Got it.
And it's this, captivating play of forms and sensations and experiences that tricks us into believing in separation
Yeah.
when in truth there's only oneness.
Yeah.
It's kind of like putting on a virtual reality headset.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So we get so engrossed in this VR game of life, we kind of forget that it's not the ultimate reality.
Right.
But if that's the case, how do we break free? How
Yeah.
do we achieve liberation or moksha?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the Avadhuta Gita offers some fairly radical answers, I would say.
Okay.
It's not about rituals or practices,
Okay.
but it's really about fundamentally shifting your perception.
Right.
You have to recognize that the world and your sense of separation from it are illusions.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm curious about how the text explains this. Does it use any striking imagery?
It absolutely does.
Okay.
One line that really resonated with me is, the universe composed of the 5 elements is like water in a mirage.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's saying that everything that we perceive as solid and real is ultimately an illusion.
Right.
Yeah.
Another quote that emphasizes this oneness is, union and separation exists in regard neither to you nor to me. All is verily the self alone.
Okay.
And so it's really dismantling the very idea of duality,
Right.
suggesting that even the concepts of you and me are constructs within this grand illusion.
So the Avadhuta Gita is challenging us to question everything we think we know about ourselves and the world.
It really is.
But how does that actually translate into our lives? What are we supposed to do with this information?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The Avadhuta Gita doesn't give you a step-by-step guide.
Okay.
Instead, it offers these profound statements that act like koans. They're designed to kind of jolt you out of your ordinary way of thinking.
Can you give me an example of one of these jolting statements?
Yeah, well, there's this one that always makes me pause. You are not born, nor do you die. At no time do you have a body.
Wait, so we don't have bodies. That's a bit mind-bending.
Right, remember, it's pointing to a reality
Yeah.
beyond our normal perception.
Okay.
The body, like everything else we experience, is seen as a temporary manifestation within this grand illusion.
Okay, so it's about recognizing a deeper essence beyond the physical.
Right, and there's another passage that speaks to this as well. The self is neither divided nor undivided, nor is it all or less than all. Know the self to be immutable.
Wow.
It's such a profound statement.
Yeah.
What do you think it means?
I'm honestly not sure. It
Yeah.
feels like it's pushing the boundaries of language and thought.
It's highlighting the limitations
Yeah.
of how we usually think when we try to grasp the nature of the self.
Right.
It's saying that the self cannot be categorized, defined, or limited by any concept or idea.
So it's beyond all the dualities we typically use to understand things.
Exactly.
Even the duality of like being and non-being.
Exactly. It's a very radical concept.
Yeah.
But the Avadhuta Gita really encourages us to embrace this unknowing, not as a limitation,
Okay.
but as a gateway to a deeper, more expansive experience of reality.
It's like we're being told to let go of trying to control and define everything.
Yes.
And to surrender to the mystery of existence.
Yes.
But how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
And how does that help me embrace my power?
Well, that's where I think the figure of the Avadhuta comes in. Think of him as like the ultimate embodiment of this idea.
Okay.
They're completely free from societal norms, expectations,
Yeah.
living in a state of pure self-realization.
The Avadhuta becomes a symbol of like radical self-acceptance and liberation.
Right.
It's a reminder that we don't have to conform to anyone's rules but our own.
Exactly, and that's a crucial part of embracing your power.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that the power that you're seeking isn't external.
Okay.
It comes from within.
Right.
It comes from understanding your true nature.
Yep.
This vast interconnected consciousness that's beyond all limitations.
This has been an incredibly thought-provoking discussion so far.
It has.
We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore. So stay tuned for part 2 of our Embrace Your Power exploration of the Avadhuta Gita, where we'll delve deeper into the practical implications of these teachings and how they can help you live a more fulfilling and empowered life.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Welcome back to our journey of embracing your power through the Avadhuta Gita.
Yes.
We've been unpacking some pretty heady concepts, non-duality, Maya as a VR game, even the idea of not having a body.
Right.
It's a lot to take in. So
It is.
how do we bridge the gap between these really profound ideas and our everyday lives?
Yeah, you're right. It can feel like a big leap to go from these abstract teachings to actually living them. But the Avadhuta Gita isn't just about, changing your intellectual understanding.
Yes.
It's about a transformation of your whole being.
So where do we even begin to make that kind of shift?
Well, I think a great starting point is to simply notice the ways we cling to the illusion of separateness.
Okay.
Pay attention to how often you compare yourself to others or get caught up in judgments or, feel a sense of lack or insufficiency.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of all of those.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get sucked into that mindset.
Right.
Our culture constantly bombards us with messages that we're not enough.
Yeah.
Not smart enough, attractive enough, successful enough.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the Avadhuta Gita is asking us to question.
Yeah.
What if those messages are all part of the illusion?
Right.
What if your true worth has absolutely nothing to do with external validation or achievements?
That's a really thought-provoking question.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been driven by this need to achieve and prove myself.
Right.
But if those things aren't the true measure of my worth, then what is?
That's the beautiful thing about the Avadhuta Gita. It doesn't give you a definitive answer.
Okay.
It just points you back to yourself, to this inherent wholeness that exists beyond all concepts and definitions.
So it's about rediscovering that inner power, the one that isn't dependent on external circumstances.
Precisely when we start to see through the illusions that keep us feeling small and limited, we begin to reclaim that power.
Okay.
We're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or other people's opinions.
Right.
We can actually choose how we want to experience the world and how we want to express ourselves.
That's what truly embracing your power looks like, right?
Yeah.
It's not about controlling others or forcing things to go your way.
Right.
But it's about aligning yourself with this deeper truth, this inherent power that's already within you.
Absolutely. It's a power that's available to everyone, regardless of your background, beliefs, or circumstances.
Okay.
It's your birthright.
If it's our birthright, why do we often feel so powerless?
Yeah.
Why do we struggle with self-doubt and insecurity and a sense of limitation?
That's the tricky thing about Maya.
Yeah.
The illusion, it's so convincing that it can make us forget our true nature.
Right.
Remember that VR headset analogy?
Yeah.
It's like we're so caught up in the virtual reality that we forget that we can take the headset off.
We forget we have the power to choose a different reality, to create a different experience for ourselves.
And that's the journey the Avadhuta Gita invites us on.
Okay.
It's not about achieving some perfect state of enlightenment,
Right.
but about continuously questioning our assumptions,
Yeah.
letting go of limiting beliefs, and
Yeah.
embracing the fullness of who we are.
This all circles back to the figure of the Avadhuta, right?
Yes.
They represent this ideal of someone who has fully embodied this inner freedom.
Yes, the Avadhuta becomes a model for us, not that we need to imitate their every action,
Right.
but we can learn from their embodiment of inner freedom and unwavering commitment to truth.
Right.
They've transcended the limitations of ego
Okay.
and are really living from a place of pure awareness.
And they don't shy away from challenging the status quo or living life on their own terms.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring image, especially in a world that often pressures us to conform and fit in.
You're right. There's so much pressure to achieve certain external markers of success.
Yeah.
But the Avadhuta Gita reminds us that true success isn't about what you accumulate or achieve,
Right.
but about the depth of your self-awareness and
Yeah.
living in alignment with your deepest truth.
It's about recognizing that the real power isn't found in external things,
No.
but in our ability to choose our thoughts, our emotions, our actions,
Right.
and to create a life that truly reflects who we are.
Exactly. And that power isn't something you have to fight for or grasp. It's already within you.
Okay.
The Avadhuta Gita offers a path to unlock that power and live with greater freedom, authenticity, and purpose.
So how do we take these ancient teachings and actually apply them in our daily lives? Yeah. How do we turn this philosophy into something tangible?
One powerful approach is to cultivate a regular practice of self-reflection and mindfulness.
Oh, yeah.
Take time each day to simply observe your thoughts and emotions
Yeah.
without judging them.
Right.
Notice how often you get caught up in stories of lack comparison or self-criticism.
It's like becoming aware of the software running in the background of our minds,
Right.
the programs that shape our perceptions and influence our actions.
Exactly. Once we become aware of those programs, we can start to choose different ones.
Okay.
We can replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones,
Sure.
cultivate positive self-talk,
Right.
and focus on what truly matters to us.
That's what it means to rewrite our internal code, right?
Thank you.
To shift from a place of fear and limitation to a place of power and possibility.
That's a great way to put it. And as we cultivate greater self-awareness,
Yeah.
we can start making choices that are truly aligned with our authentic selves.
Okay.
We can set boundaries, pursue our passions, and create a life that reflects our unique values and aspirations.
That sounds incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, some of these concepts still feel a bit abstract.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what are some concrete examples of how we can integrate these teachings into our daily lives?
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we'll explore in the final part of our Embrace Your Power series.
Okay.
We'll delve into specific practices and techniques
Right.
that you can use to cultivate greater self-awareness challenge, limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
and step more fully into your authentic power, so stay tuned.
I'm looking forward to it. Welcome back to Embrace Your Power. In this final part of our exploration of the Avadhuta Gita, we're getting down to like the practical stuff,
Yeah.
We've been talking about some pretty profound concepts.
Yeah.
But now it's time to actually see how we can embody these teachings in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. It's not enough to just understand these ideas intellectually.
Right.
The real transformation happens when we start living them.
So how do we make that leap from theory to practice?
Right.
How do we go from reading about the Avadhuta to actually like experiencing that sense of liberation and power in our own lives?
Well, the Avadhuta Gita doesn't prescribe like a rigid set of rules or practices.
Okay.
Instead, it offers like a framework for self-discovery
Yep.
and spiritual growth.
Yeah.
It encourages us to engage in a continuous process of self-inquiry.
Self-inquiry. What does that look like in practice?
Yeah, it's about constantly questioning your assumptions,
Okay.
examining your beliefs, and peeling away the layers of conditioning
Right.
that cloud your perception of reality.
So it's like becoming our own inner detectives.
Yeah.
We're constantly investigating the nature of reality and our place within it.
That's a great way to put it. And this investigation isn't just an intellectual exercise.
Okay.
It's a deep inner exploration.
Okay.
It's about turning your attention inward
Right.
and observing your thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment.
We've talked about mindfulness before.
Right.
But I'm starting to see how it sits into this whole picture.
Yeah.
It's about being present in each moment, paying attention to what's happening within us and around us,
Right.
and noticing the patterns that keep us stuck.
Exactly. And as you cultivate greater awareness, you start to see how often you create suffering for yourself
Okay.
by clinging to certain beliefs, ideas, and stories.
It's like shining a light into the dark corners of our minds
Yes.
and becoming aware of the shadows we've been carrying around without even realizing it.
And that awareness is incredibly liberating. Once you see those shadows,
Yeah.
you can start to let them go.
Right. Yeah.
You have the power to choose different thought and cultivate different emotions and create a new reality for yourself.
That's where the real power lies.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's not about controlling external circumstances,
Right.
but about mastering our inner world.
Absolutely. The Avadhuta Gita reminds us that we're not victims of circumstance.
Right.
We're powerful creators of our own experience.
Okay.
We have the ability to shape our reality through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
But let's be honest, it's not always easy to remember that
Yeah.
life throws us curveballs. We'll
Right.
get caught up in the drama, the ups and downs, the challenges and setbacks.
Yeah.
It's easy to lose sight of our own power.
It is, and that's why having a regular practice is so essential.
Okay.
Whether it's meditation,
Yeah.
yoga journaling, spending time in nature, or simply taking a few moments each day to connect with your breath and find stillness.
Yeah.
It's about creating space to reconnect with that inner source of wisdom and strength.
It's like hitting the reset button, stepping out of the whirlwind of daily life and remembering who we truly are.
Exactly. And as you cultivate that inner connection, you become more resilient,
Right.
more adaptable, and better equipped to navigate life's challenges with grace and ease.
Yeah.
You're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances.
No.
You're in the driver's seat.
As we've been talking about all this and keep thinking about that phrase, embrace your power.
Yeah.
It's more than just a catchy title for this episode.
Right.
It's a call to action.
Yes.
It's an invitation to step into our full potential, to live a life of purpose and authenticity.
I couldn't agree more. The Avadhuta Gita is a guidebook for anyone who wants to break free from limitations
Right.
and discover the limitless power that lies within.
So as we wrap up our exploration of the Avadhuta Gita,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Okay.
What does embracing your power mean to you? What limiting beliefs are you ready to let go of?
Yeah.
What dreams are you ready to pursue?
Right.
What kind of life do you want to create for yourself?
Those are powerful questions.
Yeah.
And as you reflect on them, remember the message of the Avadhuta Gita.
Okay.
You are not defined by your past, your circumstances, or the opinions of others.
Right.
You are a limitless being capable of anything you set your mind to.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of embracing your power through the wisdom of the Avadhuta Gita. We hope it's inspired you to explore the depths of your own being and to live a life that truly reflects your unique gifts and potential.